Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to go through the process demonstrating how to use GitHub Desktop to manage Unity projects. So there are two ways to use GitHub Desktop to manage Unity projects. The first we're going to walk through is how to turn an existing Unity project into a repository locally first, and then we'll publish the changes on GitHub. And you would want to do that when you want to share a project with somebody and collaborate. And then the second way we'll do it is by starting with a Unity template hosted on GitHub as a repo and cloning that to our local machine to work on it. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is I have a Unity project right here called My Unity Project, and if I open it up, we can see right here it's really simple in this case. It has a couple basic elements in it, and if I hit play, it just shows kind of the main camera, and I have a single script in here tied to the cube object just to show that the console is working. And if I double click on my script, you can see that I have a simple log statement in the start function. So we're not going to do anything in here, but I wanted to show what is in the project. And so I'm going to go ahead and close this project for now and open up the folder here so we can see what's in it. So a Unity project typically has all these different folders, and there's only a couple that we will need to actually commit. And so the assets folder, the project settings, and the packages folder, those are things that we will commit. Other folders, they get generated automatically by Unity when you build a project or when you open a new project. So I'll show you how to ignore those in your project with the purpose of committing only the essential files to GitHub. So let's go here to GitHub Desktop, which we're going to use to manage our repository. And currently this project is not a Git repository. There's no version control associated with it right now. There's not a .git folder in here. And just a side note, anything that is a .folder or .file, .vs code for example here, or a .git folder, which we will see, it's a hidden system file or hidden system folder. And so it's usually not visible to the standard Finder on macOS or Explorer on Windows. And so just be aware of that, and there's a setting you can turn on under your file system settings. So to get going on this, what we want to do first is go to File, Add Local Repository, and I'm going to choose my Unity project folder, which is on my desktop right now, and it's called My Unity Project. Select folder, and it's going to say this directory does not appear to be a Git repo, and that's correct. And so what I want to do is click this blue link here, create a repository. And the nice thing about going about it that way is it will fill the name in with my folder name, and it will also have the local path here specified. So when you're working this way, you want to make sure your repository is basically named the same thing as your project, just because the naming stays consistent. And what we want to do here next is click this checkbox to add a README file. And for now, we're going to not choose the gitignore because we will add that later. So we're going to say create repository. And then this comes up with Unity projects because Git knows that you will likely have a lot of large files at some point. And so it will enable this feature called Git LFS for large file system. And it just has to do with how Git manages really big projects. So we'll go ahead and say initialize Git LFS right by clicking this. Okay, and so this is what our repo looks like. It initially creates one commit, but does not push it. And this initial commit contains basically every single file and folder in the project. And if I go to my folder here, we can see what's been added. I have a .git folder now, and my README, and a .git attributes file. So these are things that are added automatically by GitHub Desktop. So what we need to do is, we know we don't want to commit all these files initially, so we actually want to just undo this commit that's been made here, and we can right click on it under history, undo commit. And so now it's not tracking that any commits have been made yet, which is correct. And so the next step in this case, what we want to do is actually include what's called a .gitignore file right here next to the git attributes file. And that's going to allow us to ignore specific files and folders that we don't care about or care to commit. So to get that, I have a gitignore file available on GitHub as a gist, which is just a file you can download. And so I can go here and I could download this. If I go here and click on raw, I can do file save, and I will go ahead and just go into my project folder, and it tries to save it as a .text file, which is fine. So I'll save, and then what I'll do is go back here, and the text file is right here. And if I were to open it up, you can see what's inside. It's basically a bunch of lines that specify files or folders for the Git system to ignore. And these are things that you don't want to commit to a repo. So you can add additional lines in here for anything else that you might want to ignore. I'm going to leave it just as it is. And I'm going to change the file name now to .gitignore. And it's going to ask me if I want to do this. Yes. Okay, so now when I go to GitHub Desktop, it ignores all the other files and folders that are outside of the project settings, the assets, and the packages folder. So this is what we want to see. So this initial commit, we will go ahead and click commit to main. And so now if we go to history, we can see now our initial commit has only these essential things in it. Okay, and then we want to click publish repository. And I'm going to untick keep this code private because I don't care to make it private right now. And click publish repository. Okay, so once that uploads to GitHub, you can click on this button right here where it says view on GitHub, and it brings up that repository. So assets, packages, project settings, these are all part of the project now. So if we want to, say we want to make some changes locally to this repository and then push them to the web, what I want to do is I will open up my text editor, and right here I have my project open in VS Code, and I can go to my README, and let's just add something. I'll just say, hello, this is my Unity project, save, and you'll see there's a M for modified of this file. And if I go back over here to my repository in GitHub Desktop, you'll see that file has changed, and it shows what changed about that file. If I were to, say, go and edit my script here and add another debug statement, and just put some sort of random text in there, it also shows that's been modified, and right here it shows it as another file that's changed. So I'm going to undo that one for right now, since I'm not going to change anything about my script, but I will change this, and I'll commit these changes. So it's kind of smart. It knows how to detect if it's just a README file, and it'll say update README, or I can type a custom message in here. Some text to README, for instance, and I will say commit to main. Awesome. Okay, so now it says push commits to the origin remote. You have one local commit waiting to be pushed. So I can see what changed in this commit right here. and this is not yet live on the web until I push origin. You can also click this button right here, and it will transfer it to the web. So I'll go back over here and reload, and now we can see the change has been made right here to my README file. So great. Next, let's say we would like to start from a project that is a template. So what that looks like is currently on GitHub I have a couple templates here. This one right here is for just like a basic Unity project, not virtual reality or any special packages or anything. Just a standard standard Unity project. And so we're going to create a project based on this template. So you can see what's in here. You have the assets, packages, project settings, and then some GitHub related files. Same gitignore file as before. And the README contains this text right here, which we will change. So the nice thing about using templates this way is you can start something and start something here from a known place, which might include some additional, scene features or assets that might be in here. So we're gonna click use this template to start, and I will call this one my new Unity project, and click create repository. And so the reason I'm starting here is because it's easier to start with a template from the web interface to create a new project to then clone it. So that's all good. So now we'll go back over here to GitHub Desktop, and we're going to clone a repository now. And so what it's going to do is it's going to actually bring up the list of all the repositories I have in my account, and I will search for my new, let's see, oh, gotta refresh. My new Unity project should show up here. There we go. So that one. And I'm going to go ahead and clone it to the desktop. So then I'll click clone. So it's cloning my project. Great. And so now this is my project, and I can see the history of it. I can see the changes that have been made. And currently it has this one initial commit, which in this case, the initial commit is, again, just these essential files. It's not a bunch of stuff that I don't need. So the first thing I want to do in this case is open up this project just to see what it looks like in Unity. So we're going to go to Unity Hub for this, and we're going to go add project from disk, and I'm going to go to the desktop and find my new Unity project folder. And this was created with a version of Unity that was a little bit older, and I'm missing it on this computer, so I will go ahead and update this project to a later one. Okay, so change version. So this may take a second. Okay, continue. So that's one thing about templates like this. If you create your own templates at any point and you want to kind of move forward with additional versions of Unity, you might go back at some point and update the template that you made, and I will likely do that for this one soon. So let's see here. Once this opens up, we can see what's going on. So while that's happening, I could even go over here and see what might have changed already in my my repo just from the loading process. Okay, go to my scenes and look at the sample scene. So it's very basic. I have a cube and a plane in here, and if I hit play, it will show just that. So that's all good. Okay, so let's actually create some assets in here. Let's do create folder scripts, and under scripts we'll go ahead and make a script. I'll just call it hello world, and we're going to add this script to our cube. So our cube object has a script on it now, and we'll go ahead and open this one up. So yes, okay. So here we can see, here's our project. I can add a log statement. So hello world from Unity, from my new Unity project. Save. Okay, so I'll go ahead and close that. Reloads here. And when I click play, I should see that message in the console. Not hello world. So I'll go back and edit that. I'm missing a O. Okay. Cool. Okay, so save my scene. So we know all that works, and let's say now I want to commit those changes. I can go to changes and I can see the files that have now changed in this repo. And you can check or uncheck different parts of it. In this case, I'm going to leave everything checked and just say like updated my project with a new script. And I'll commit those changes now. So I can go to the history and I can see what's been changed. Cool. So one more change I would like to make is just my README file. So I'm going to go ahead and go find my project here and go to my Unity project, and we'll just open this in oops. We will open this in VS Code. Okay, so this is just my project README here. So I'm going to get rid of all of that, and I'm going to just change this title to my new Unity project, and this is my new project. It's awesome. Cool. Okay, so now if we go to GitHub Desktop, we should see the README changed, which it has. So updated README, sure, let's commit that to the repo. And so now we can see we actually have 2 commits now that are waiting to be pushed. And I can see those right here and see these little arrows. They designate that those have not yet been pushed to my repo. So we're going to click push origin, and it's going to push all the changes to the website here. So if I reload this now, I have my new Unity project, and I have the text I entered, and under assets I should have my scripts folder and my new script that I created. Go back here. So if I wanted to switch back to my other project in GitHub Desktop, I just go to this menu right here, and I can toggle between them. And again, these are just managed right here under Unity Hub. So just to recap, we went over turning an existing Unity project into a repo and committing that to GitHub. And then we walked through the process of creating a repo from a Unity template and cloning it to my local machine to then make some changes and then commit those changes. So those are the 2 ways to really work with GitHub Desktop in combination with Unity to manage projects easily. Thanks for watching.